chitty chitty bang bang, our fine four-fendered friend. Bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang, our fine four-fendered friend. Chitty bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang, chitty bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang, chitty bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang. I think it was a couple of years after we had completed Mary Poppins that Cubby Broccoli came to me with this idea. He had read the original Ian Fleming book, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, which I had never read, to his children. And I remember at the time, I was such a Walt Disney fan. I was convinced that the only person who knew how to do children's entertainment was Walt Disney. But then, of course, he got Dick and Bob Sherman. And once I heard the music, I knew that they really had something. It was shortly after that I said I'd do it. Caractacus Potts was kind of a rebel, kind of a guy who thought outside the box. And I loved that character. He went his own way, educated his own kids, and just lived his own life the way he saw it fit. He was a crackpot.
Keep clear!
Does he know what he's doing? Of course he does.
I've always had a habit of improvising the physical part of it. It's just instinctive with me. If I see an opportunity in a scene to put something physical in, I'll just put it in. So a lot of those things happen right on the set at the moment. Thank you. That just seemed to fit that character. He was a little absent-minded professor type and a little bit of a klutz.
Would it be too much to ask what this is, this thing?
Little invention of mine, cleans carpets by suction.
All that to clean carpets?
We had to have a little edge there between the two of them. They couldn't just fall in love at first sight.
Oh, I do.
Well, and what's this gadget?
Well, that's not quite right yet, but eventually I hope to transmit moving pictures by wireless.
Really?
Yes, really.
And I kind of liked his getting really sensitive about her making fun of his inventions, because they were his pride and joy, those inventions.
I think that the problem is...
The boiling point of your sugar is too high.
She made fun of him, so he had a right to get crotchety.
Well, I've never been
Spoken to that way before. Well, maybe it's about time.
Oh.
Good afternoon, madam. Mind the casebook.
I thought I'd grown immune to them.
I remember in the book that Caractacus was married. There was no love interest, no love story. So I think bringing Truly Scrumptious in works very well, because we had assumed he was a widower. And they couldn't have picked a better Truly Scrumptious than Sally.
How did it touch my heart? How did this feeling start? This glow that feels so warm.
They came up with Sally Ann. I heard her voice, and it was the richest contralto. She auditioned with a lovely, lonely man. And I thought, my God, this girl is great. And then she was stunningly beautiful.
My life now has a plan to someday make him see that I need him as much as he needs me. Truly scrumptious, you're truly, truly scrumptious.
She loved those kids, and they loved her, which I think comes across on the screen. They just thought a great deal of her. And she spent a lot of time with them, between shots, telling stories, playing games, during all those long waiting periods. I don't know where they found them, but they were so natural and so good, I could not believe they didn't have any experience. They're both good.
Someone's careful to be there for.
I have you too.
Someone to do for. Mine through for.
That's all pre-recording and lip-syncing, which is not an easy thing to do if you've never done it before. But they were perfect. I don't think they ever had any trouble with it.
Whenever you're lonesome, I've a happy lot, considering what I've got.
It was Roland Emmett, who had worked with Cubby for a long time, who came up with all those crazy inventions, which were just wonderful.
Things go asunder, and I want
My favorite being the breakfast maker. It gave us the most trouble, and it broke a lot of eggs, 2 eggs around the room. It dumped plates. Sometimes we'd have to go away while the cameraman and the special effects guys got it to work. But on the film, it's absolutely marvelous. It's fascinating to watch that machine work and deliver those plates right to us.
Afternoon, miss. Sorry I can't stop. I'm off to India. You'll have a cup of tea for Martha Larcher. Cheerio.
Lionel's one of the funniest men that I ever met in my life, and we became fast friends. Lionel was 4 years younger than I, and he played my father, and I never let him forget it. He was prematurely bald and a little bit gray, and he looked the part. They had to age him up a little bit.
Oh, the posh, travelling life for me. First cabin and captain's table, green cup.
And he had a pretty good baritone voice, too. But he seemed to have a ball singing it. He really enjoyed himself.
All out, starboard out, toss with the cover open. O-S-H, posh.
P-O-S-H. Ken Hughes, I think it was his first movie of that kind that he had ever done. He had done a lot of adventure movies and that kind of thing, and the action is where he was quite good, all the Chitty Bang Bang stuff. I got to tell you a funny story. At the first day of filming, the very opening of the movie, when Chitty Bang Bang is a racing car, I was not in the shot, and they had a huge crowd of people, all these great old cars racing. I was talking to some of the extras, and an assistant director came over and handed me a little flag, and he said, just stand over there and wave the flag. I said, well, you don't understand. He said, just stand over there and wave the flag. So in the movie, I am standing there with the extras waving the flag. I don't know if you can see me or not, but I'm there. I was so pleased to see that the Sherman brothers were part of the whole creative team, because having worked with them, I knew that not only were they good songwriters, but they were creative in every other way. They were great storytellers. A lot of the ideas for scenes came out of the music. Having worked with me before, they seemed to know what I could do and what I liked to do and what fit me. Mark and Dee Dee Wood were the choreographers. I am not a dancer. I was never trained as a dancer or know anything technically about it. And these two had that great talent for finding out what you could do well and making a dance number out of it. And they knew what my strengths and my weaknesses were. They made me dance.
You use a sturdy pole. Ladies use a parasol.
And so it was very easy to recommend them to Cubby Broadway. But I didn't know they were going to work as hard as they did. The old bamboo was what they call Morris dancing in Old England. And they found out about Morris dancing and wrote this song based on that. And then, of course, Dee Dee Wood and Mark Broad, the choreographers, looked into Morris dancing, went and did a lot of research on it. So it really is couched in real tradition. That was the hardest number in the picture, and probably the hardest dance number I've ever done. The bamboos were bamboos, but they had metal poles inside, because we had to vault on them and swing them around. It was extremely difficult, and most of those guys were a good 15 years younger than I am. At the very end, we had to jump over the sticks. And out of 25 dancers, every take, somebody would miss. We did 23 takes. And by that 23rd take, if you look very closely at the movie, I just make it I go, I think it caught on my heel or something. Then we go into a somersault and bounce up. But it looks great on the film. Those English dancers can dance. Remarkable. All those dancers were in all the other numbers. The male dancers particularly were all in the Two Sweets number.
That savory fight.
That sweet of your life.
Sally, she was a graceful woman. The only movement we did together was the Two Sweets number. That's the only dancing we did together. She was very good at it. Gigantic set and authentic. It was really 1910. Every piece of curlicue metal and everything. I was amazed at the look of it. And of course, we rehearsed that dance number in that set for a long time. That dance number was a lot tougher than it looked. Hanging onto those trays, the centrifugal force alone was enough to throw you right out of the room. But I had a strange thing happen. I'm not being a professional dancer and a little older. I didn't warm up like the other dancers did. I didn't get out there and stretch and everything. And at one point we were spinning around on the cookie trays and we did a kick backward. Well, I kicked backward and I felt something pop and I didn't know what it was. I finished the number and realized I was in a lot of pain. And I had ripped the big muscle at the back of my thigh. What is that? Can't think of the name of it. It's called the big muscle at the back of the thigh. And I was out of dancing for about 6 weeks. I had to go get it bound up, so we shot around and we did other non-dancing things. Definitely a Cubby Broccoli production. It was like a James Bond movie. Ken Adams was there, who did wonderful special work for all the Bond pictures. A German guy, I think originally an architect, if I'm not mistaken. Enthusiastic man to work with. They reconstructed Prince Ludwig's castle on the back lot at Pinewood. Huge set. And it looked exactly like what we shot at the real castle. You know, how in Schwangau is it? Something like that. They didn't spare any expense at all. In the beginning, I think I did see some of the storyboards. And I thought the stuff that they shot was better looking than that. Ken Adams designed the car. It looked authentic without actually resembling any car that ever existed. There was nothing fake about it. The joinery and the wood, everything was gorgeous. That had that beautiful classic boat back on it. And I like the way in the movie you see Kwchittychittybangbang060222 Potts taking a boat out into the barn and he rips the head of the fireplace off and takes it out. Well, Lionel is saying, and the big brown bear
came lolloping over the mountain.
I'll never forget the line. It had a 4-cylinder Ford engine in it, which was not a lot of power for a big, heavy car like that. I drove it quite a lot. I think there were about 6. There was the lighter one that we used on blue screen for the flying, which I had done before. I'd done a lot of rear projection and blue screen work. That was, what, 1967? That's a long time ago. Technically, those shots hold up as well as anything done on computer today. Of course, this is long before a computer. You have to remember that those kind of special effects were much more difficult to do then. You had to do them live. And we spent a lot of time sitting up in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, just the 4 of us. And we'd sing songs. sometimes they'd break for lunch and forget that we were up there. Leave us. You know, in England, getting enough sunshine to shoot is always a problem. Chris Chalice, who was the cinematographer and a wonderful man, would be standing there waiting for a break in the clouds to come. And it would come, we'd shoot, and finally we ended up in the south of France, shooting some of those driving scenes in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. And if you look carefully, you'll notice we're driving through vineyards. It doesn't look like the English countryside at all.
Tell us a story about pirates, Daddy.
A story about pirates, huh? Well, let me see.
A boat! I can see a boat!
The question I brought up was Baron Bombers and that whole adventure real, or was it a fantasy? And it was originally written as real, and that it really happened. And we met and talked and talked and talked, and we finally decided that when Chitty starts to fly and Baron Bombers arrive, that should be fantasy.
That isn't just any old boat out there.
No?
That is a private yacht of the notorious Baron Bombers.
Bombers?
You have never heard of Baron Bombers, ruler of Bulgaria?
And I like the fact that that whole thing could be as outrageous as it was, and we could get away with it because it was a fantasy.
Quickly,